Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick update about what I'm up to and what you can expect from the channel. It's very, very hot here in the UK. I'm not complaining, but I'm spending a lot of time and effort keeping all my gorgeous animals cold. So those of you that have got animals in any area of the world, and if it's very hot or very cold, please do really think about, what it's like for them in their situation and where they are, and have they got a choice to find themselves somewhere comfortable to go, because that's really important. So my guinea pigs have got ice packs in with them. The cats are fine because cats are absolutely expert at finding themselves perfect places to go. My horses are doing really well at finding themselves a shelter and keeping themselves cool, and the doggies are in here with me. So I hope you're all doing well. I've had a really lovely couple of weeks. I've done a couple of live events where I have been and met people like Wim Hof, which I've already spoken about. I went to a brilliant outdoor concert in London, which was fantastic, meeting like-minded people. Went to the community festival with Russell Brand and Wim Hof and met some amazing people there. And then I've also been to some events where I've met people that are on very different wavelengths. And that was quite an interesting shock to me. It made me realize that how I've created a community around me and put myself in a position to be with very supportive people. Now, that doesn't mean with people that agree with everything I say. And one of the things I wanted to have a little chat about today is the difference between being confident to have your boundaries, being confident to share your opinion, being confident to explore different points of view, and then projecting that and stopping other people doing the same. And it's a learning curve for all of us. And I think sometimes when you're sort of identifying an issue, and we've got so much censorship in certain areas, we all know what that's like, that we can tend to go the other way and think it's okay then to project anything out there. And the one thing I would say, going back to good old advice and good old manners, is like, if it's something that you wouldn't like said about yourself, there's a big difference about discussing situations and personalizing it. And every single person has got a view of the world that is purely and simply their view. I'd really, really, really recommend people going and looking at the Fifth Agreement playlist that I've been doing with Jamie Soleil, and Bryce has joined on a couple of them as well, because these simple bits of advice are really, really important, because all of us absolutely see the world through our filter. We smell through our filter, we hear through our filter, we visualize through our filter, we pick up energy based on the vibration we're on, and it is purely our view of the world. And of course, that is what is important to us, and that's what we're working with. But for me, part of censorship is letting other people, so long as they're not inflicting harm, have their view on the world. And quite honestly, I'm not going to go into details, but there's so much how can I put this? There's so much projection going on online. I personally find it really disappointing. I think that, if you're going to be the type of person that goes out there and says a lot about other people, you cannot be surprised when it comes back at you. You just can't. That is the law of the universe, of return. What you put out into the universe is what you get back. And the beauty is we all learn from that, or we hopefully learn from it. So I don't think there's going to be anyone that's watching this today that hasn't said something, done something, and then the consequences have come right back at them, and they've thought, bugger, that wasn't necessarily the best decision that I could do. My talk last week, I think it was last week, with Jamie Soleil on the fourth agreement of the fifth agreements, and always do your best. We learn from our mistakes, and that's what we need to do. And what I'm seeing is, like I had someone saying on my channel today, shame on you, Catherine, for having this person. I'm opening up free speech. I haven't had anyone on my channel that in the conversations that I have had with them has been disrespectful to anyone else. Now, I'm not responsible for what conversations they have with everyone else, because everyone will interact differently. It will bring out different bits of their personality based on how they're speaking to. So I am an animal communicator. We're all animal communicators. It's just something that I happen to have spent a long time nurturing that side of my communication skills. So it's something that I do personally, but also professionally to help others out, because it's something I'm really passionate about. And animals communicate through thoughts and feelings, what we humans might call telepathy, rather than using their visual voice. Of course, they do make sounds. Different species of animals make different sounds, but that's not their main communication point of view. So when you practice that side of your communication, what happens is you're picking up on the energy of the conversations. And I know, and I will put my hand up, if I'm interacting with a person and it's pretty obvious I think they're a prat, they are not going to respond nicely to me, because they will pick up, even if I'm not saying, that energy projecting from me. So therefore, if they're a bit funny with me coming back, I will take responsibility that I've invited that, because I'm giving out a negative energy to them. So one of the things that I'm really keen on my channel is to have open, respectful conversations. And I do not have a need to agree with everything that's on there. I am in a constant state of learning, and that's what I love about doing this. It's the whole reason I'm doing it. And I'm genuinely interested in hearing other people's respectful points of view. And I do not, none of my guests make it personal about other things, about other people. And what I would say is, if you're seeing something on a show and you're making it personal and then stepping in and taking one side or another, are you addicted to drama? Is it your battle to stand into? You know, yeah, you can stand up for friends, but you don't know the full depth of the conversation. We will see it through our eyes. So if I've got a really good friend and someone's saying about them, I'm going to be immediately completely biased to only see my friend's point of view. And so long as you recognize that, then you can recognize that you're not going to be objective in terms of what informations you're allowing into yourself. So I think at the moment we talk a lot about walking our own walk, about self-development, about self-discovery, about when we change ourselves, we change every interaction we have in the world. And I strongly believe that it's not always easy. It is not always easy. However, if you're constantly being called into other people's battles, I would seriously ask yourself why. And I do not appreciate people on my terms sort of making really nasty comments about me because of certain guests I've chosen to have on my channel. None of you will have learned anything. You're all happy to take the bits and pieces that you want. You know, if you're the type of person that's watching the channel, you're going to hear things that trigger you on whoever's is. You're going to change your mind about people. It's called growth. You're going to hear things that you like and you agree with, and you're going to hear things that you don't like and you disagree with. This is the whole point of growth. This is the whole point of life. If we came out knowing it all, it'd be a bloody boring journey. Look at the way animals behave. They learn, they put, you know, toddlers put their hand on something hot and they learn not to do it again, but they're not then blaming them and sort of pretending that someone else made them put their hand on something hot. Do you see the difference? So my plea is that we've all got good friends around us, whether it's online friends, whether it's in-person friends. Use those friends to give you honest feedback and take ownership for your reactions, And as I said, if you keep jumping into other people's battles, then don't be surprised when things come back at you. So I am loving the guests I'm having on at the moment. I'm learning a lot from all of them. You know, as I said, I'm completely unattached to what I agree with. We all know I've got quite set opinions myself on nutrition. I've got quite set opinions on lifestyle. I've got quite set opinions on what I feel is achievable. And I do genuinely believe that we will, you know, control our own reality. Do I always get it right? Absolutely not. Do I attract things into my life, repeating behavior patterns? Absolutely. Do I laugh about it and think the common denominator is me here? Absolutely. You know, is it always easy? No. Do I have really good friends that I can get honest feedback from? Yes. And thank God for that honest feedback. Because if not, I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to improve. I'm not going to learn. And we all have. So being gentle with ourselves and being gentle with others. Any of you, all of us, we are not experts at different things. You know, we'll all have specialities of things we're good at. But We all know how easy it is to have something misinterpreted. And what I would say is, how often have you had a conversation with someone, whether it's on text, whether it's in writing, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, and you've been misunderstood? And I think part of where we're at the moment is realizing that it's very easy to misunderstand. And are you in a reactive mode, which means you're going to jump to conclusions, normally negative, or are you in a mood where you can sit there and sit with it and sort of say, well, I wonder if there's two sides to this. I wonder if there could be a positive and negative side of this. And I think it's really important for us, because if we want to enjoy ourselves and have a happy, you know, contented, fulfilled life, and be a really good friend to others and be a good citizen and help our neighbours out, whatever neighbours means to you. Neighbour doesn't have to be the person living next to you. It can be anything. Are you helping the wildlife out at these times? Are you, because I know all over the world there's some very extreme weathers. We won't even go into what's causing that today. So what I think is, there's so much talk about ascension. There's so much talk about where we're going in the future, but I like to bring it back to, I enjoy that. It's fun. And to me, it's like watching a reality TV program. Their opinions, am I going to live my life by it? No, absolutely not. Because my opinions change very often based on new information that's coming in for me, or new aha moments, or new realizations, or new things that I'm seeing working or not working. And you know, that's the advantage of getting older. You know, did I have this wisdom? My children are so much wiser at their age than I am even now, and I'm a lot older than them. So, you know, we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to, but also that does mean being kind to others, and stop projecting your stuff on other people. Enough. If you're sitting there and snapping into judgment mode, that's about you. It's not about the person that's triggered you. I don't care what they've said. I don't care what they've done. That's their karma to deal with, their situation, their time to reflective. If you're feeling you have to jump in on that, then that's about where you're at, and what are you missing in your life that means you've got to get so involved in other people's. That's where I see it. You know, you don't have to agree with me on that. You do not have to agree with me, but it, you know, it's the age-old thing. If it triggers you, then just don't watch, walk away, or ask yourself why it's triggering you. Ask yourself what you think about it. There's a big difference between having a conversation and expecting everyone to agree with your opinion. A huge, huge difference. So these are just my musings, my thoughts. It's my channel. I'm just telling you where I'm at the moment. And as I said, you know, you absolutely don't have to agree with it. Half of the reasons why I have the coffee chats, why I have the conversations with people, is because sometimes when you verbalize things and say them out loud, then your thoughts become clearer, and someone else will come back and say, oh, but have you thought of this? And I think, oh, actually, no, I haven't thought of that. Good point, you know. Or I might think, yeah, I have thought of that and I don't agree with it. Either's fine, but I don't have to be rude in the way I project it and the way I present it, because every single person is entitled to their opinion. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Be cautious. Someone once said to me about 10 years ago, and it was very true for where I was in my life, I've said this in another show, is be careful you're not an arsonist firefighter. Are you constantly attracting dramas into your life that are nothing to do with you, just so that you can get involved and stop reflecting and looking inwards, or sorting out your own life out? And that might be just doing your cleaning. It might be doing your accounts. It might be getting yourself fit. It might be redoing your diet plan. It could be anything. But as humans, we're really, really good at distracting ourselves with other people's business, because we know there's areas of our own lives that we need to address, and we just don't want to go there. We all do it. We all do it. Some of us have learned to do it less than others, and some of us are still very much on that curve. And wherever you are at it, it's fine. I just think it's good for people to look at that. So the good thing, being the change you want to see, how are you reacting to situations? Are you reacting with compassion, anger, judgment? Remember, your reaction is 100% down to you, not anyone else. Doesn't matter what that other person has said. how you react is 100% down to you. As Wayne Dyer said, if you squeeze an orange, only orange juice can come out. If someone does or says something, and anger or judgment or jealousy or resentment comes out, that's because it's inside you. Someone else can say something else to exactly the same thing to someone else. They won't react at all because it's not a trigger for them, because it's not their lesson to learn. I think I've probably done that one to death. So boundaries is a big thing for everyone at the moment. I'm seeing lots of stuff coming up for everyone, including myself, about boundaries. Boundaries are great and they're movable, folks. Remember, there'll be a constant evolving process as you're constantly evolving. And I think communication is key to that. When people understand the why behind things, it's much easier for them to accept it. So if people aren't accepting your boundaries, perhaps ask, you know, am I communicating this clearly? Am I really sticking to them? Are they a non-negotiable boundary, or am I giving the impression that they're movable, in which case people are going to move them for me? So that's coming up a lot for people at the moment, and it's a great thing for us all to be working on a micro level and on a macro level as well. We're talking a lot about sort of wanting to solve things on the big global level, which is absolutely fantastic, because that's a reflection of what's happening on an individual level. But we mustn't forget to work on ourselves on an individual level. I'll give you a really funny example. So my husband and I did the online Wim Hof workshop this weekend. It was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Wim Hof and team. It was so good. And one of the things it made me realize, so one of the things on the agenda, this is so funny, it had meditation. So I was thinking, oh, fantastic, nice hot day, got all set up out in the garden. I'm just going to be able to lie there and do nothing for half an hour. But oh no, Wim had different ideas. It was an active meditation. So he got us doing planks. He got us doing scissor and sheets, got us doing the horse stance and breathing. And initially I was a bit triggered. I was like, oh, really fancy to lie down in the sun, just listening to someone else doing this. And then when I started doing it, I was like, wow, I have, even though I'm the type of person that does a lot of exercise with the animals, I've completely neglected perhaps my core fitness, for example. So when I used to be able to do a plank for ages, and I tried to do this, we were meant to be doing it for 5 minutes, I was pathetic. And what I realized I'd done is I'd used a lot of my self-development over the last year to do things that weren't physically challenging my body. Now, I often talk about with some of my guests, including Bryce, about the importance of physically challenging ourselves, of emotionally challenging ourselves, and mentally. This friction is where the learning points are. And I had to hold my hand up and say I had avoided challenging my body physically on the excuse that I was doing things like more meditation, more breathing, etc. But it was an excuse. And when I sort of realized how little time I could do the plank for, I gave myself a kick up the backside and thought, right, that area of my life is out of balance, because if I want to have sovereignty, I at least need my body to be performing at the best level for me possible. You know, I want to be able to do normal survivor things. If I'm being chased by someone, I want to be able to run away. So just a little learning point for me. I'm wondering if there's something, areas in your life that you sort of made excuses not to be the best version of yourself. And is physical fitness important? Absolutely, I think. You know, if we want to take back control of ourselves, performing as a human's meant to perform doesn't mean we all need to be Olympic gymnasts, but it does mean we should be able to do basic things. You know, do you got, according to your age, of course, and according to whether you've got any disabilities, but again, don't use those as an excuse. You know, I've got a neighbour who's well into their 80s that is still doing all their own vegetables and fruit and vegetable growing and gardening. Very great. You know, yes, obviously there's some, you know, long-term choices involved in that, some luck, whatever you might want to call about it. But what I'm saying is it's good to challenge ourselves physically and feel that sense of achievement, just as important it is for our own spiritual development. Don't forget, you know, you've got your physical body, you've got your spiritual body, you've got your emotional body, and all sorts of other things in between. If one of those is out of balance, then you'll start to see it. So that's something that I've learned this week. I have got a lot of good guests coming up over the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to announce them all now because I'm just trying to sort out some scheduling issues, because I've got some other exciting things coming up on a personal level over the next couple of weeks. But please, please, please do make sure you're subscribed to my channel with the notifications on, I'm still getting loads of people saying that they're missing all my videos because even though they were subscribed, they're not getting notified. I would really, really love people to sign up to my newsletter. All the links are below the video, but if you go to catherineedwards.life, you will get a pop-up that will ask you to subscribe to the newsletter. The reason for that is I can share lots of good information in a newsletter that I can't put here. But how weird, this week we have 500 people that MailChimp unsubscribed to my newsletter in one fell swoop, 500 people. So if you think you're subscribed to my newsletter list, they said it was something to do with the fact that they hadn't verified their account. But I spoke to a couple of people that has happened to, and they said, no, that's not the case. So I might be looking into a different package for doing my newsletters, but that might be a few weeks down the line. If anyone's got any good recommendations, let me know. But in the meantime, if you haven't had a newsletter off me this week, it means that you're one of the ones that has been removed from the list. I have 2 Telegram channels where I share a lot of information. I've got the Catherine Edwards Health and Redox, that again, the links are below. That's why I share everything to do with health for you and your animals. And they've got Catherine Edwards Live, which is more current events. So please, please do look at that. And also we've got some great new things coming on the courses side of things. So do check out the Catherine Edwards Academy. We have got some really good things coming on that. So watch that space. And when we do updates to the courses and add new modules, I'm just about to add 3 new modules to the cat nutrition course and the dog nutrition course. And then anyone who's already signed up for those will obviously get all the updates for free. So I have been a busy little bee behind the scenes. I'm going to go and move my dogs somewhere cooler now. I think I'm melting in here. But I'm not going to complain about it. Us British don't always complain about the weather. I know there's lots happening wherever you are. Stay safe. Get good people around you, whether it's online, whether it's in person. Having a few people that you know have got your back. There's a great community here. You know, if you put in the comments about where you're from, see if someone else responds and if they're in your local area or something, because I honestly, the power of having people that are good friends, that have got your back, that are non-judgmental is so, so important in this time, because that's how we all grow. You know, we've all got our blind spots, and it's really important that we've got those people in our lives that can be honest from a loving place with us. And I think that's where we all grow. So I hope that that's the way that you can view other people. No one's perfect. People are going to learn as they go along that journey. And let's hope we are all learning and moving things forward, because we sure as hell don't want to be stuck where we are now. Have a brilliant week, everyone. I will be back soon. Any special requests, let me know below. I love it, love it, love it. I've been noticing in my videos, there's some people that are so good at sharing what works for them. I've had the Manifesting book series, which has some brilliant suggestions in the comments under there. The 5 agreements one, there's some brilliant suggestions under there for what people. So if you've got something that works for you, we'd love you to share it, because it will resonate with someone here and it could really help them out. So we, you know, share it forward, share the things that are making you feel positive, share things that you're helping your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, share what's working for you about perhaps moving out of a place of judgment and lifting the vibration in general. Whatever it is, so long as it's moving us forward, share it. Thanks everyone. Have a brilliant week. I'll be back soon.